Hello friends, this is Abhay Kumar here. Welcome to my series of session on Scala. This is the first session in the series. In this, we'll be talking about what Scala is, why to use Scala, and what is a functional programming language. So to start with, let's start with Scala, what exactly it is. As the name suggests, it's a scalable language. It's a multipurpose programming language that can be used to write a program which can be a smaller script or it can be a big size library. As and when your code grows, you will be able to manage the complexity of the code in Scala. So it's a scalable. So whatever is the your requirement that will fit into Scala. You will be able to achieve the task that you want to do using Scala. It's a multipurpose language, so it's it's not that easy to understand, is not that easy to learn, but over the period of time there will be a learning curve. After that, once you get the mastery of it, you will like it like anything. This was first introduced in 2003 by Martin Odersky. So now let's look at why you want to learn Scala or why we should learn the Scala. As I said, it's hard to learn, but it is worth the investment. If you learn the technology, this Scala technology, it's the future safe. It's the future safe technology, and it's a functional programming which will be there for next decade. I can say more than that as well. So why Scala is so popular nowadays? Because it has features like tuples, functions, macros. These are some of the features. There are so many other features which are available in the language, so that's why it makes easier for developer to write a code in better way. Increase performance. The program that you will write in Scala, it will be efficient. Whatever is the input size, input data, you will be able to scale the program to handle the increased volume of data. The performance will not be impacted. The performance will be there if you write a proper logic for your data processing. Scala is a type-safe JVM language. So Scala is built on top of Java. So it's a JVM language based. It's a type safe. When I say type safe, it means Scala is compile time syntax checking is strictly implemented. So compile time itself, you will be able to understand if there are any issues with the code. So 90% of your errors at the compile time itself will be identified and reported. It supports object-oriented and functional programming language. So since it supports object-oriented programming language as well as functional programming language, it is called as a hybrid language. We'll look into what is a functional programming language in next slide. You already know object-oriented programming language. I am assuming that. If you don't know, I request you to go and look for some of the sessions on object-oriented programming principles. Basically 4 principles. It's polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation. These are the 4 main principles of object-oriented programming. Please go and see the details. On Google you will find lots and lots of material about that. Then Scala is concise. The program tends to be shorter, it's a logical, and it's a powerful language. Scala is high level. So you as a developer, Scala developer, you will implement the complex stuff and will have just abstract level methods or some APIs that you will expose to the user so that it will be easy for them to use the Scala. So at high level you will implement something using that, like if you develop a library, so that way it becomes a high level for the user of Scala. You can handle the complexity internally. So abstract level, just APIs will be exposed to the users and he'll be able to use it. So that kind of programs you can write in Scala. There are some major applications which are built using Scala. One of them is Apache Spark. Second is Apache Kafka. Then there are some publish subscribe message queues which are used in Spark or other distributed application processing framework which use Scala internally. So if you look at these major applications as an example, you will understand this programming language is much more powerful than what we have seen till now. So now let's look at what is a functional programming language. It's actually a programming paradigm. The style of programming, the style of building a structure for your program will be defined strictly in this particular programming principle. So let's say for each program that you write will be considered as a computation, and that computation will be treated as a mathematical function. So it means whatever the problem that you are going to solve, that particular program will be treated as a mathematical function, and that function has two main characteristics. The first is it does not allow changing states, and the second is it does not have mutable data. So when I say it does not have a changing state, it means for every number of calls, the state of that particular object or method will not change over the period of time. Let's take an example of this bad square method, in which it is taking a parameter which is a double type and it returns a double type. So when it does a calculation, there is something which it is dependent on, which is system.current time millis. So whatever is the current milliseconds, it will be divided by 42, and after division with 42, whatever is the remainder, so this is the modulo operator based on which if it is equal to 0, then it returns the value. In else case, it adds some value to that return and then returns it. So this particular bad square example is dependent on system time. If the system time is like the remainder after division of 42, if it is 0, then it returns something. In else case, it returns some different value. So for this bad square example, we are not sure what will be the result of this particular function. So this is a changing state of this bad square method, bad square function. So functional programming avoids this thing. Functional programming will not have such a type of methods. Then the second principle of this is it does not have mutable data. So if I say int a equal to 0, and in the program at some later point of time I say a equal to 2, so here the value of a is changing over the period of time. So initially the value of it was 0, then it was changed to 2. So this is a mutable state. So this mutable state is something which adds confusion, and this programming principle this particular thing, these types of value changes are not allowed in functional programming language. So these are the two main principles of functional programming language. It does not allow state changes, and it does not have mutable data. That's it. Very simple. Thank you for watching my entire this series. I'll be coming up with new series. Please do watch my next session for additional things in Scala. In next slide, we'll be looking at how to get started with Scala. We'll write simple small examples using Scala IDE, and we'll get started. Thank you. Thanks for watching.